Fantastic. So what advice do you offer to people who are thinking of trying to flip a home themselves?
I think the first thing is to obviously do your research, know your area. Don't go into it. I mean, the old saying is, you buy the worst house in the street and sell the best, and that's great. But don't try and think that you're going to outperform the market. Look at your comps. I market my deals on the comps now, not where I think the market's going to be in 12 months, but working on uplift. And then also just make sure you've got enough money in the back pocket when stuff goes wrong, because it will, it always goes wrong. And it's how you deal with that and mitigate it. I mean, we have 35 guys working for us right now across 10 sites. And it's just a firefight constantly, but it's how you firefight and how you mitigate it, and just accepting that that's going to happen,
Do you need a construction background in order to flip a home?
I think it definitely helps. Yeah. I mean, when I was, even though I was an investment banker back in London, I was flipping homes on the side, even though they were small apartments. That has definitely helped. I mean, now, I'm a fully licensed contractor. We have our electrical, concrete and general licenses underneath us. I have a crew of 35 guys who are all on staff. And that flexibility, having those 35 guys on staff, means that I can flex across those 10 projects. I think if you're coming into it as an average Joe, you've got to make sure you've got a good contractor that you trust, and you just got to make sure that your budgets are realistic, because I think a lot of people come in thinking, I can build a house for, $200 a square foot. That ain't the case anymore.
Okay, so that brings up a point. Do you have a horror story you want to share with us?
Yeah, well, I got
one of those nightmares, like, oh, be careful because this could happen to you.
Yeah, well, yes, we all know. Whit and I actually helped me with one of my major horror story. I had one development a couple of years ago, which was just horrendous. I had a business partner who I went into business with, on a Spanish house in the valley. And she just clearly, she told me the permits were being handled. It was a disaster. Hillside.
Know your business partner.
Know your business partner. Make sure that if you're going into something, that you can get permits quickly without major issues. So seek advice up front. And you just gotta do your research, because if you buy a bit of land and you can't build what you need to build, you've got to have a plan B. And luckily, that's the one deal I lost money on. I had enough other projects coming up to basically manage that one and mitigate the loss. But yeah, you've got to be very careful and be aware that, if stuff does go wrong, how are you going to handle yourself?
Right. It'd be nice to say that every house was 100% and you get a positive return. But let's be realistic. If you're truly in the business, you have your ups, you have your downs, and the idea is to have more ups than downs.
Yeah, and I think we're at the point now where we go into projects knowing we've got the permits sorted. I think when you're learning, I mean, I say that was my $200,000 MBA, basically that project. Yeah, that's what it cost me. But and looking back, it was, as much as that hurt, it was worth it, because you just learn so much from those sort of projects. But once you learn from them, you don't want to have them happen again. That's for sure.
Right.